All right. My name is Kerry Duke. This is the interview with Wesley Wyrick, and we're covering two Comma Club award winners and their secrets about using stories in their marketing. So, Wes, thanks for being here. Awesome to talk with you. Can't wait to hear your stories.
Thanks for having me, Carrie. I'm happy to be a part of this and love helping others, man. So thanks for asking me to be a part of this. I appreciate it.
You bet. So here's where I want to start with. It's like, okay, where do you use ClickFunnels, and how did you win your two comma award? And then after we know that about you, let's dive into the stories.
Sure, man. Yeah, my biggest platform for me is Facebook. I mean, we are running a majority of our ads directly on Facebook, and we're actually being able to incorporate our ClickFunnels in some of our organic posts too, outside of our paid ads to actually drive in some business. But what we've won our ClickFunnels award with is I am a mortgage loan originator, and I jumped into mortgage loan originating about 3+ years ago. I've always been associated with mortgage lending, but I wasn't directly a mortgage loan originator. In the past, I worked in banking and finance. But once I jumped into this world, I realized a big part of our business comes from referral partnerships. And those referral partnerships are typically realtors. And in our market, the realtor partnerships they're very loyal, and it's hard for us to kind of break into that mold. So the way that we went against the grain a little bit, and focused heavily on the direct to consumer marketing, and we wanted to build a team of more of modern lenders when it came to that. So we incorporated this whole approach, and we drove in a lot of business by directly marketing to the consumer instead of relying on the referral sources. So enough business to help us easily generate over $1 million in revenue in the mortgage world.
Man, that is fantastic. Having previous experience in that world myself, that mortgage lenders seem to just really rely on that real estate referral business. I mean, they lean on it very hard, and so for you to actually be able to use social media to drive the direct consumer to your mortgage process, that is a real twist. I'm impressed by that.
Thank you. Yeah, it's against the grain, man, and a lot of the other folks will give you a little bit of pushback on it, but we actually have a proven method. It works.
Now, do you do national loans, or you regional, state, city? How far is your spread?
Man, I am licensed in 4 states: West Virginia, Kentucky, Ohio, and Tennessee. Our company is making a pretty big move that's going to open up the door for me to do lending in all 50 states. We're really excited about that because, as you know, we can run an ad anywhere and get these ads in front of people anywhere at any time. So, that production was just from 4 states.
Okay, great. All right, so let's talk about your stories. All right, um, tell me the how you got there. I mean, obviously, with being in the two comma club, I would assume that obviously you're using ClickFunnels. You're an award winner, so you had some tremendous success. And it's like I said in our pre-show meeting, that we know Russell Brunson is an absolute proponent of the usage of stories, and he really encourages everybody to really dig down into these stories. What was that process like for you, and how did you go about crafting those stories in order to get some of that success that you've had?
Man, my story is more of a driver for me personally, as opposed to being implemented in my actual marketing. My story, it motivates me and encourages me each and every day to succeed. Just to kind of share briefly with you my story, and then in second, I will actually share with you kind of like how I paint my ads and marketing. But my personal story is, man, March of 2014, I lost everything, man. My life went through some very drastic changes. I was bouncing from couch to couch with family. Everything that I owned at that point in my life fit in a 16 by 20-inch box that is actually still sitting in my garage. So I went through a huge hardship in my life, and it was devastating, but it helped me tremendously because it humbled me tremendously because I was doing well prior to that, but this was just something that impacted me. And that was a driving force for me to make some changes in my life. And I started shortly after that, I had my opportunity to jump into the mortgage business to really prove myself, man. And it took me, I mean, it was about 6 months before I started making any money, but I had to really think outside the box at that point because I knew that was my low. I never wanted to be like that again. And so I wanted to take these moves, make these moves to actually put me in a position where I would never have to live that life again. And that is where I discovered this huge platform, Facebook, social media marketing, and how you can use that to your advantage to drive in business. So that's my personal story, man. So anytime I'm down, anytime I feel like I don't have an opportunity or coming my way, I always think back, man, you're not struggling. Here's struggling. You're not struggling anymore. You know, this is your opportunity. You keep growing and pushing yourself. So that's my personal story. We've came a long way in the last 3.5, 4 years, and we are rocking and rolling. Now, when it comes to how we do our marketing and how we put stories in our actual marketing, our funnels, we market for the end game. You know, we understand that we are salesmen, and nobody wants a salesman. Nobody wants a 30-year mortgage. They want the home. So anytime we build out our funnels and our anything driving business for us, we are marketing the aspect of home ownership. We're just the tool that helps get them there. And we teach like some social media classes here locally in the states that we participate in. And we share the same information with the realtors, and we use the picture hanging on the wall as an analogy. I mean, the picture hanging on the wall is what people want, and we're just the hammer and the nail that gets that picture on the wall. We're the nail because we're the 30-year mortgage. We're going to stay up there longer, and the realtor's the hammer. But that's kind of how we do our marketing, and that's our story that we put into all of our marketing pieces we build.
Okay, let's unpack that. Your personal story, you're actually living your own attractive character inside the story. And so your story, you are the attractive character, and you're placing that kind of feeling inside of your marketing. Would you agree with that?
Oh, absolutely.
All right. So when you look at the challenges, have you happened to have read Carmine Gallo, The Storyteller's Secret?
No, I haven't.
Okay, it's if anybody's listening, man, it is an excellent book. And one of the things that he covers in this, when he's interviewing all of these successful millionaire, billionaire type people, the one thing that they have in common, whether it's Tony Robbins or the guy from Virgin Airlines, doesn't matter who it is, they all have that same exact story that you just told, which is they've had to overcome some kind of tremendous challenge in their own life. And so I find it interesting that you come right out of the box with that exact same mentality, is that I had this thing happen in my life, and I've had to overcome it, and this was the challenge, and now here I am telling my stories. And your story is obviously of success with the Wyrick Mortgage Group, but now you're also able to I guess infuse your marketing stories with that same type of mentality.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
When I hear you talk about your the end goal, you're not everybody hates salespeople, but they all love to buy, right?
That's true.
And so when you're telling the stories in your advertising, and I'm assuming that your ads are telling a story, because that's how you get people to your landing pages, where you further tell the story. but how did you come to that understanding of how to tell the story versus trying to sell? I mean, how did you do that? And since you have a team, how does your team incorporate that same message?
It took a little while for that to click for me, man. We read the books and we try to learn from those that are better than us. But I went through a couple of coaching programs and was able to have the opportunity to learn from somebody doing it better than I am. So a big part of my success was investing in myself, knowing that there's people out there that are doing this, that are doing really well with it. Um, Spend your money and learn from them. I mean, it's the same thing as like spending money on any other source of education. Spend the money and learn from somebody that's doing a really good job with it, and use that opportunity to incorporate in your business.
Okay, so you got some coaching outside. That would be the mentor part of your own story.
Yeah.
Um, well, when you say that you got that coaching, that's great. You were able to overcome that. How did you though get your people to tell the same stories?
By letting them see the success that came along with it. The people on my team all understand what I went through, and they have actually seen my growth. They're actually able to see the numbers. Um, I'm fully transparent with that when it comes to what we're actually doing and earning and so forth. So to My goal is, man, when I try to bring people on my team, I surround myself with those that have the qualities you just can't teach people. They have that natural. Um, I don't know if you read the book. It's The Ideal Team Player, Humble, Hungry, and Smart. Have you seen that one?
No, I have not.
Okay. It talks about humble, hungry, and smart are the three characteristics that you need to look for people in that you hire, because that's the things you just can't teach. In the mortgage business, I can teach that to anybody. The numbers part, you can teach that part, but you cannot teach humble, hungry, and smart. And when it comes to the smart aspect, it's not so much intelligent smart, it's people smart. So once you have that on your team, so hiring the right team is a big portion of that. Once you have people that have that mindset, it's easy to teach them the second part. And that's kind of what I did. I've built the team that I have. I hand selected them based off of that information.
So in your business, you're the leader.
I am.
You're telling stories from personal experience, and you're being the leader of your team, and those stories are motivating your team.
It is, and then they get to see the results, and then they want the same thing. We all want to win, and we win when we all win. So that's the mindset we have.
Okay, so in your ads, what's your best story? I mean, how do you convey the fact that you're doing mortgages, which is kind of a dry subject. Most people don't understand that. They call you up and say, "Hey, what's my rate?" And you say, "Well, before we can get there, I need to know a little bit about you," right? I mean, that's really how it kind of goes. So how do you get them, to be not sold, but to buy into what you're doing?
I mean, we do our marketing based off of cities, neighborhoods. Find out about some of the latest listings coming available in this area before everybody else. We play in the we do our marketing based on, we know what they want. Here's a city people want to live in. We need to build our marketing around that city. Here's a community that people want to be a part of. We need to build our marketing around that neighborhood. So that's how we market this, just to say, hey, if you want to know about some of the latest homes come available in this area before they hit the market, click here. And they click here, and it captures their information. We get that lead. We share it with a realtor friend to help them provide the information needed. But we also have a lot of AI built in on the backside to do some automatic follow-ups and getting those leads converted. So when we build our marketing, it's around the end game, and that's on the mortgage side. Now, the real estate investing side, we kind of play a little bit different. We market directly to, and this is a completely different aspect outside the mortgage business, but we market differently. You know, are you trying to sell your home quick? Are you needing quick cash? We market on that side of that. So there's two different ways that we do it, but like I said, we're always marketing to the end game of home ownership when it comes to the mortgage.
So that picture on the wall analogy that you used, which is part of storytelling, is how you're trying to attract those folks. You're trying to get them to say, well, you know, if you're looking for this, you're building a story in your ads. I mean, that's what I hear. You're building this story of putting them in the movie that's in their head of wanting to live in a specific neighborhood, city, type of house kind of situation.
Yeah, yeah. And in the content, we just try to debunk what people think, you know, like you'll be surprised, and you know, this might not relate to everybody or every business, but there's so many people that assume in the mortgage industry you still have to have 20% down to buy a house, or you still have to have flawless credit to buy a house. So that's some of the stuff that in the marketing we kind of debunk that in our ads. You know, we'll market to the side of, hey, do you feel like your credit score is not strong enough to buy a house? You could be wrong. You know, do you not have money planned for a down payment? That's fine. Reach out to me because we have alternative options for you. So we kind of put we run 20, 25 different ads, and they're all tailored to around what is going on in somebody's head. So we try to think, hey, we don't have enough for a down payment. Oh, let's build an ad for that person that thinks that they don't have enough for a down payment. Or, you know, they don't have good credit. Let's build an ad for that person that thinks that they don't have good credit. So that's kind of how we build out each one of these, trying to think of what that person on the receiving end might be thinking.
Excellent. I mean, I think there's a lesson right there. I mean, you have, and we're going to dive into this, but you've figured out that your potential prospects have more than one conversation going on in their head. I think that's an important aspect of marketing, you know, because everybody says, you know, you have to build a customer avatar. What does that customer look like? Well, that's great, but don't you think that they also have multiple conversations going on? I mean, this guy may be worried about a VA thing. This guy may be a FHA thing. This guy may be a credit thing. So you have, and I'm assuming here, but, you know, correct me if I'm wrong, but you have somehow figured out what your audience is actually thinking.
Absolutely.
How did you do that?
And I understand that you don't have just one audience too. So you've got to think, hey, there's this category. Well, you have a big audience, but you have different categories of that audience, I guess, if you want to paint it that way. Here's a big piece of the pie, and these people are thinking this way. You know, here's another big piece of the pie, and these people are thinking this way. And if you want, if you ever want to have a good gauge of what people are thinking, just ask. You know, throw something on Facebook and ask, like, people on your friends list. Say, hey, if you're a first-time home buyer, what is something that that you didn't know when you were buying your first house? Or attention realtors, if you wanted to give one piece of advice to a first-time home buyer, what would that be? And let everybody tell you what they're thinking, and then now you know. So you can do that on your personal page without having to post it obviously on any type of business platform, just to kind of survey people, say, hey, what are people thinking?
That's a great point. So you mentioned AI in your funnel sequence. I assume that's, you know, various types of emails and opt-ins and things like that. You've also, if correct me if I'm wrong here, but you've also written a book.
Yes. Yeah.
That's one of your lead funnel opt-in opportunities? Is that right? What was the name of your book?
Official Home Buyers Playbook. Yeah, okay. I got two editions of that. One for any home buyer, but I actually made one specifically for veterans also.
Okay, and obviously in writing a book, you had to tell stories, right?
Had to tell stories, man. Yeah, and yeah, you got to tell stories. You got to make it relatable. And if anybody wants to take that approach that's listening to this, make sure to tell your story in your own voice. Don't feel like you have to be Stephen King or any well-renowned author to write a book. People just want to hear information in your voice. So just know that there's something in your head that people want to know. Don't be afraid to put it on paper.
Couple questions. One, yep. How successful has that book been for you in your marketing?
Oh, it's great, man. I use it as as basically a business card. I mean, I went into writing the book as not having a plan of profitability at all. I just wanted to use it as a marketing aspect for me. Now, every time that book is downloaded through my Clickfunnels platform, I get obviously notification of who is an interested home buyer. So if somebody's downloaded my book, the Official Homebuyers Playbook, they're basically telling me, or the Official Homebuyers Playbook, the book for first-time homebuyers, they are telling me that they're interested in buying a house. So absolutely, that they're telling me that they're a potential client for me. So that is how I built that out. That's why I built that out, because sometimes people are curious enough to download that book, but won't take the step to reach out to me to find out if they can get a home loan. So if they download that book, I make the first contact, like, hey, thank you for downloading that book. They get some type of automation from me even. Thank you for downloading the book. If you like to see what you qualify for, let's talk, or here's a link to my online application for pre-qualification. Let's go ahead and get this thing started for you. So that's what we built it out for. That's why I built it out. And it has been a huge success. I was actually on a podcast yesterday with a mortgage group, a group of mortgage lenders sharing the same story of why I built it out and how it's helped me.
Awesome. The idea of writing a book it's not new, and using it as a statement of proof is not new. But what I think was always missing when people were advocating the usage of writing a book, be the expert, is that they missed the opportunity on how to tell that story. It's like, everybody's got a book in them, right? Well, yeah, I guess, but how do you get that story out, right? I mean, that's the problem. So what would you encourage, let's say, new ClickFunnels users to do regarding writing a book?
Do it for the right reasons, man. Just understand how to do it. Make sure you put it in your own voice. Tell your story. Dig down and find out why you're doing what you're doing and why you're passionate about it, and put that on paper. You can. Mine, I wrote through the eyes of a first-time home buyer and through the eyes of a mortgage professional trying to give advice to somebody going through that. Relate to your customer. Put yourself in their shoes. What do they want to hear? And that is exactly how you build it out. Don't do it for the reasons of I'm an author. Don't do it for that reason. Do it for the reason of helping people, and make sure that in the message in your book is in some way is helping people, because that's what ultimately what you want to do with it. You don't want to write a book just to say I'm an author. Don't do that. Write a book to have information to give to somebody that is a potential client for you. Obviously, anybody can go write a children's book right now, but what's that doing for you? How's that helping you? Make sure you put your voice in the book and have a plan for how you want to use that book.
I love that. That's excellent advice, because I think the majority of folks that are pushing, write a book, be an author, be the expert, are missing that single thing right there, which is be authentic about it and understand why you're writing the book, not to be the expert, but to tell a story.
Yes.
Obviously, we want our stories from a marketing perspective to be motivating and to ultimately end up in a call to action. But it's like there's multiple different ways to do that. Russell Brunson has followed that Dan Kennedy style of publishing prolifically and reusing a lot of the material from book to book to book to book to piece to piece to piece, no matter what medium is in. And all of those things have many opportunities for you to follow a link to go in and enter into any one of his funnels. And are you doing the same kind of thing?
It is, but mine is basically a lead capture when that book's downloaded. It also has opt-in for more information, like if you want to learn more about first time home buying, click here. It takes them to some landing pages that I have that could even funnel them directly down to my online application, where they actually fill out what we in the mortgage industry call a 1003, which is an application for a pre-approval. So we put those opportunities in every funnel that has the book associated with it.
Okay, good deal. All right, so let's kind of get to the end of this. What would be your best suggestion for those who might be struggling with telling a story, regarding the marketing?
Find why you want to do it. Dig down deep and understand your why. And it might not be the first why. You might have to dig 3 or 4 times deeper just to find out why you're doing it. But know in your mind that you're just trying to be. What did it for me is I wanted to be my market expert. My market here in this state that I'm in, I wanted to establish myself as my market expert. So I tried to learn as much as I could, but also meet as many people as I could to help me with that. But ultimately, also invest in yourself. Find somebody that is doing a really good job at it and try to learn from that person. It might cost you to learn from that person, or it might not. But if there's somebody out there that's doing really well with it, take the steps to reach out to the person and do not be afraid to ask for advice.
Oh, excellent. Okay, Wesley, where can people find out more about you?
Sure. WesleyWyrick.com, which is a platform built on Clickfunnels, obviously. If you want to learn a little bit about me, WesleyWyrick.com. If you want to learn a little bit about my mortgage business, bestmortgageteam.com. But also you can Facebook. You can find me on Facebook, Wesley Wyrick, obviously. Message me any questions you have. We love helping people, man. And so if there's anything I can do to help anybody out, we're all ears.
Oh, that's tremendous. That's how I found you, was on Facebook. Obviously Russell Brunson has the 2 Comma Club Award winners list out there. And then I looked you up on Facebook. That's how we got together. So,
Yep.
All right. This has been Wesley Wyrick, and Carrie Duke talking about marketing. And Wesley, I appreciate you coming on and sharing your journey in talking about marketing. And hopefully this will help other ClickFunnels users, take those positive steps forward.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, Carrie.